All right, and greeting freakers, and welcome to Play Some Video Games, the only gaming podcast to recap every first-party E3 conference individually and do live stream reactions over the actual conferences. I'm sure no other podcast or internet commenter has ever considered such a harebrained scheme. I, Kyle, will be your host this evening, and joining me to break down Sony's E3 Media Showcase are Seth. How are we doing this evening, sir?
Greetings, Spider-Man!
Nice. Greetings, Spider-Man, indeed. And Justin, glad to have you back on the show again. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. Can't wait to talk about some PlayStation.
Excellent. So we're going to be doing this a little bit differently. You may notice that Devin, who is on our pre-show, is not with us currently. We all live in vastly different parts of the country, both coasts represented, me somewhere in the middle. And we have a lot of other responsibilities, work, family, all of those good things. So we're actually going to be recording this as two separate segments. Podcast listeners, never fear. Through the magic of editing, this will all be one episode. But for viewers, if you're watching us on YouTube, this will actually be two separate videos because I don't think we do any fancy video editing at this point really yet. But that's coming down the road maybe. But never fear. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. Never fear. There'll be very little backtracking, though, or rehashing content twice. I want to make sure that, when you listen to the entire episode, it's always new information or good information moving forward. So enough housekeeping. Let's just jump in and talk about some PlayStation at E3. So over the past couple years, PlayStation has had some really, really strong showcases. Overall, gentlemen, broad strokes, what did you think this year, Justin? How did you feel about E3 2017 for PlayStation?
I thought it was really good. I'm actually curious to hear what you guys thought because I'm hearing like some negative feedback on the internet, but I liked everything they showed and everything's coming soon. So that's the most exciting thing about seeing a new game or just seeing a game in general, getting hyped about it, is when it's coming within a year. Yeah, I'm gonna get pretty excited. So I thought it was a good showing from Sony this year.
Gotcha. Donnie would not say it is coming soon, but that's a different story. Seth, what say you? What were your general thoughts?
So confession time as a fellow PS4 owner. Over the past, I always like looking at what other consoles are doing. I'm interested in what the Xbox is doing with their Game Pass and EA Access and whatnot. And I've been looking at some different things and thinking about maybe not going away from PlayStation, but jumping in on Xbox. But this conference absolutely reminded me why I'm a PlayStation fan, why I have a PlayStation 4, and why I've been part of the ecosystem. I'm not every game. There was the one game about the mouse that somebody
don't even. Tread
no. Somebody
carefully.
That's Kyle's thing. Yeah.
When the mouse came on, somebody in the theater said it's the new Rescuers Down Under game. So I thought that was funny. But that game's not quite my style, but it looks cool.
I know because it has like character and heart. I kid. Seth, continue.
anyway, this almost every game was a game that whether I end up playing every game or not, it reminded me of why I like Sony and why I like PlayStation. And yeah, I'd like more games. I would have loved Detroit to come out this fall or Spider-Man, but they're coming out eventually. They'll come out hopefully next year. And yeah, that's what I thought. It did what I wanted it to do. It could have done more, but it showed me games, and that's the most important thing.
So, there has been a lot of, I think the general consensus is that people were pleased with what was shown, but that overall they felt wanting more from the conference. Mm-hmm. How much do you associate that with the really strong past two conferences PlayStation has had?
I mean, I think it's a big thing to do with, people's complaints about this year, because everything we saw this year was stuff that was revealed last year. But some of those are huge games that are now, only, less than a year away now. Some of them are, before the end of the year. So I'm more than happy to see them again. And they need to show those off, regardless, because they need to prove to me that I want to buy them. So yeah, I definitely think it's a big thing. I think another thing to consider is that Sony's has their own press conference with PSX. And there's definitely going to be some sort of announcements or reveals at that. And that's not that long away. It's within the year. So when you're looking at future game reveals and stuff like that, I think that's where PSX comes into play.
Yeah, I think the same thing. I think that it's that we as fans and maybe some other people who write about games behind where Sony is going. They realize that the hardcore Sony people are on the PlayStation blog every day, so we know what indie games are coming. So we don't need an indie sizzle reel at E3. They need to sell their big games to the general public at E3. They know that we're going to be watching at PSX and be able to see the smaller games and get those there. I think it's just a recognition by Sony that they're going to bring out their big guns on the big stage and show what they have to offer, and they don't need to do anything else fancy.
Yeah, I think that it was a really solid conference overall. I mean, I definitely enjoyed it. I would have appreciated an indie sizzle reel, though. I think when you think about, how PlayStation really built the ecosystem that they have today and the 60 million units sold that they have today, they didn't have a lot of really big AAA exclusives at the start. It was a lot of support for indie games and really cool niche products that we're still getting to a degree. But the number of indie games you saw on Xbox's stage, for instance, this year, far outstripped, what we saw on PlayStation. And yes, are those games still coming to PlayStation? Yes. And does PlayStation still have a really healthy, vibrant indie scene? Absolutely, it does. But 4 years ago, 3 years ago, you would have seen a good chunk of those games on stage. And we just don't see that very much anymore, which to me is disappointing because I really like those games. But I am on the PlayStation blog every day, multiple times a day. I know when these games are coming, and I'm looking forward to Next Machina later this month and Pyre next month. And we know about those games still, but it would have been nice to see it during the conference as well. So overall, did you guys get to see every conference that's happened?
I've seen the trailers and announcements from every conference, and I watched all of Nintendo and Ubisoft are the only two that I've seen the whole thing of, but I've seen trailers of everything.
Okay.
No,
Justin?
The only one I didn't watch is the EA, but I got the gist of what came out at the EA conference. But yeah, I did watch through the others, and Microsoft and Nintendo are the big ones, of course.
So the general consent, and I could be wrong, my feeling is that the pulse of E3 this year is that it was a good year. Not a great year, not an exceptional year, but it was a fine, good year. We got some good announcements. We got some things people are excited about. But this isn't, in 5 or 10 years, people aren't going to be like, oh, remember, E3 2017. That was the one where. Do you think that's accurate? Do you feel that overall this year was just it was good, but it wasn't the best we've seen?
Yeah, I do. I think that's accurate. I think that, and I kind of said it going into it, that PlayStation fans are generally happy with what was shown. Nintendo fans seem to be happy with what was shown, and Xbox fans are happy with what was shown. So what's the issue in Xbox? That's a different podcast. I thought the Xbox show was great, and they showed a lot of really good, promising games. And I thought all the shows did. I was really excited about the Ubisoft show. I thought they have a lot of good-looking games coming up. I think it was a solid conference, but there was no mic drop moment, like when the year that Sony was coming out with the PS4, and they shared how they were going to share games between players, and you had the little Adam Boys to Shuhei passing the game. That was kind of a mic drop moment. There was nothing like that at any of the conferences, I think. And I think really with Sony, all it would have taken was for Spider-Man to have a November 2017 date or something like that. drop.
Or even
moment,
God of
but-
War, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So-
Whatever the big games. But that's what it was. There's no mic drop moment, but there's a lot of good moments, and there are great games coming the next 1-2 years.
Absolutely. Justin, your thoughts overall on E3 as a whole?
Yeah, I agree, and I'm happy. There's definitely some games I'm very excited about that got revealed this year. A lot of it's third party. I definitely think Microsoft had some of the cooler third party reveals, I guess I'd say, in my opinion. But Sony also showed off all their exclusives, which they have a lot, and they're also completely exclusive.
Yes.
Which they
Total
definitely
exclusives.
they definitely took a dig at Microsoft, even mentioning that, like, their exclusives are completely exclusive. They're not timed exclusives. They're not muddy in the water. Like, is it, how long is an exclusive? Because that was majority of Microsoft's conference was, is this actually an exclusive, or and all of Microsoft stuff comes to PC now too. So, but yeah, overall, through all the 3 consoles and even the developer conferences, I'm just happy with some of the new stuff, and it's been okay E3 so far.
Awesome. So one of us went and hung out with other PlayStation fans to watch the media showcase in a very fancy movie theater. So Seth, tell us about your experience, any cool swag you may have gotten, and what's it like watching these experiences with other people?
Yeah, so I don't know how fancy the movie theater is, but it's at a theater outside of Columbus, Ohio, and I went with a friend from college, and I've gone. This is, I think, my 4th year in a row going, and I'd like to go just because it's the one time that I'm in a room with a bunch of people who are excited about games, and it just makes it fun to go to. When as different announcements went on during the pre-show, I was actually there for the whole pre-show because I was confused about what time I was supposed to get there. So during the pre-show, people were talking over things, and then occasionally would get quiet. But for the most part, we're talking. And then during the big show, when especially Shadow of the Colossus comes on, people went nuts. And that's it's a fun atmosphere to watch something like this in. Actually, and it seems like every year there's some sort of technical difficulty at this theater.
I don't think it was just
this
your
year.
theater.
Okay, well, I don't know. Was the stream bad?
No, there were some, depending on where you were watching your stream from, some people lost audio for a while. I never did, but I think on Twitch maybe people lost audio for like 2 things, like 2 trailers.
Maybe ours was streaming from Twitch. I don't know, but we had no audio for Uncharted, so there were people in the theater voicing the different characters who were talking, which was fun. There was no audio for Horizon, and the audio came back halfway through Days Gone, and during the part where he's riding his motorcycle, there was no audio, and a guy like 2 rows in front of me started making vroom vroom sounds. The whole theater busted up laughing. So it sucked that there was no audio for those, and it certainly diminished. Like, I watched the Uncharted trailer today, and it was great. It's a great trailer.
That's real good.
But when you're watching it silent, it kind of diminishes the impact. So that kind of sucked. But the rest of it, I mean, people went nuts for just about every trailer, and the ones they didn't go nuts for, they made fun of. So mostly it was the VR stuff, but there was not too much swag. I got a poster and a card. I should have brought my card out. It's just like a playing card that has the PlayStation logo on it.
Oh, the cards that they give at a PlayStation experience?
Yeah. And then you get a lanyard with a code on that, and I went on to the website and entered that code. So I imagine in a month I'll probably get a $10 voucher and some avatars and stuff. I don't know. That there was no really cool swag this year. The poster was just that like the nighttime sky with the constellations of the.
Oh, yep. So what they're using for their backdrop and everything.
Yeah. So that's the poster, and I'm not going to hang that up or anything. But it was fun. I like doing it every year, and think that I'll still continue to do it every year as long as they have it.
Gotcha. Awesome. Yeah, I was gonna go, but had to do stuff for us. It was great though. I got to hang out with Donnie. It was a lot of fun talking to people in the comments. It was a great.
I don't know how great hanging out with Donnie would be.
No, it was. He was stoked about stuff. He was getting really excited about things.
Yeah.
So, but
All
let's jump in. That's enough of the pre stuff. Let's jump into the actual announcements, what they talked about. PlayStation has really been pushing their pre-show the last few years. And if you're not familiar with this, before the media showcase, PlayStation streams a pre-show with game information that's not going to be shared on the big stage. The importance of this pre-show has really grown in the last 3 years. This is where a lot of those indies that we talk about that aren't seeing time on the big stage are starting to get highlighted. But this year, they had some pretty big announcements. Actually, some might even argue larger announcements on their pre-show than they did on the actual main stage. So we're going to start there. One of the first things I had, and this is a little bit out of order just because I wrote it down as I was talking. We were talking over the pre-show, and Donnie was distracting me, so it's not all in perfect order. The NAC 2 got a new trailer, and it was given a release date of September 5th, so coming this fall, for, I believe, it's going to be a $40 title, which is great. I'm excited about NAC 2. Justin, you said you had a lot to say. Tell me about NAC 2.
By a lot to say, I mean, I'm definitely getting NAC 2.
Wow.
Well, it's a platformer, and I don't know how it'll hold up well to like Ratchet and Clank, which was like a phenomenal platformer, especially in this day and age. And especially at $40, I get the Best Buy discount or whatever, like with Games Club. So, yeah, it's definitely something I'm gonna pick up, and it's something that I can, when younger family members are over, I can pop that in. So,
Seth, do you have any interest in NAC 2?
Not on launch day, and that's mostly because 1 day later,
Next day, yeah.
I'm getting Destiny, which that was kind of a stealth reveal that Destiny's release
Earlier.
date was bumped up 2 days.
Yeah.
And I'm getting Destiny 2, and a couple weeks before that, I'm probably getting Uncharted. So it just is kind of not a need another game, but I'm interested in playing it sometime. My oldest daughter loved the first NAC, and I think with this one now, it's even more co-op focused, and I think we can really play it together. I definitely, it might be a Christmas gift for the kids that that we can play together. Is kind of what I see it. And $40 price point is great. I think it shows that Sony understands that NAC disappointed a lot of people, but that people are still excited for it. And it's a great price point. And I also think a lot of people missed that. A lot of people in PSVG missed that was announced during the pre-show.
Yeah. So I think,
yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say, I think that's a great price point. I'll probably pick it up day one, to be honest, and play it at that price. I enjoyed the first NAC, I think, more than most people did. It definitely had its flaws, but I had a good time with it. And I think my biggest concern with it, for an action combat game, the action was very similar all the time. And this looks like it's really trying to fix that. So, that was my biggest complaint with the game. And it seems like they've done a lot of work to make that better. So I'm excited to see what they do. I trust Mark Cerny. Let's go. So one of the next announcements, Matterfall, the next game from Housemarque, got a trailer and surprisingly a release date of August 15th, and it's now available for pre-order. So Matterfall was first shown, I think, at E3 last year, maybe, or PSX.
I think maybe 18 months ago, PSX.
Okay, maybe it was 18 months ago, PSX. And we've seen nothing else from it since then. And then all of a sudden they get the gameplay trailer and a release date in 2 months. And the other crazy thing is that Housemarque has Nex Machina coming out next week. So this small Finnish studio is putting out 2 games in the next 2 months.
Well, isn't Nex Machina they're partnering with someone?
No, they just brought in Eugene Jarvis, who
okay.
So it's just Eugene Jarvis that they're working just with him. They are self-publishing that, which they don't usually do, whereas PlayStation is publishing Matterfall. But yeah, so either of you picking up Matterfall? It's a day one. I mean, it's a pre-order for me. So
I plan to. The only problem is that August 15th date. It's just I looked at the full calendar of things that I want to play for the remainder of the year, and for as much as people are saying PlayStation doesn't have any, they didn't announce any release dates during the show. I mean, there's a ton of stuff between now and the end of the year, and I just, it might not be day one because I know a week later I want to get Uncharted and just have some other things. But I definitely, I don't even know what Matterfall is about, but I like Housemark and it looks stylish. That's good enough for me.
Absolutely. Justin, you picking that up?
Yeah, I'll probably pick it up eventually, but I think I'm in the same boat as Seth, where like I know I'm gonna have other games to play at the time it comes out, so it'll probably be a month or two, or maybe that, usually I end up playing more games during the winter, in the early months of the year, so maybe it's one of those I'll pick it up on a, sale or something.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm a huge Housemark fan. I enjoy all of their games, and that for me is a no-brainer pre-order. Same with Next Machina. I'm gonna be getting that too. So one of the next things they talked about was this interesting thing called PlayLink. So what PlayLink appears to be is kind of their attempt at doing Jackbox, where you'll use your phone to interact with the game. Currently, there are 5 titles announced. The first one being called That's You, which is actually free for PS Plus subscribers in July. Hidden Agenda, Knowledge is Power, Frantics, and SingStar Celebration, with more in development from first and third-party developers, according to Sony. So, are you guys excited to play games on your PS4 with your phone? Justin, you gonna whip out your phone and play some games on your PS4?
Yeah, this is another one of those like stealth announcements that I just did not catch, so I've not like gone through and I actually looked at what those games are going to be. Obviously, like SingStar is something I'm not interested in. I'm not gonna sing into my phone. I can buy a $40 karaoke machine for something like that. But I love Jackbox games. Part of those games is the humor that's built in, but the majority of it is the humor of the group that you're playing with.
Right.
And so if they have anything close to that, or just, every time I show off Jackbox, everyone's amazed. They're like, wait, I'm playing on my phone, but it's on the TV. How is this working? And I just kind of wave it away and say, don't worry about it. It's working. Let's just have fun. And I could definitely see something like that happening with this. I think it's a cool idea that they're coming up with. It's creative. It's definitely something. One more thing to add to the PlayStation, the PlayStation exclusive list, where it's just something, fun to have on your side, I guess.
Absolutely. Seth, is this something you want to pick up?
So the 2 games that they revealed during the pre-show were That's You and Hidden Agenda. Mm-hmm. That's You is, I think, more along the lines of like that Jackbox idea, and it was the one appearance of Shuhei during the whole event, and it looked like a fun party game. I don't know, but it I don't know that it'll be for me. The one I was really excited about is Hidden Agenda, which is from the people who made Until Dawn.
Yep.
Got branching storylines, and it has to do with it's like a police procedural crime thriller kind of thing, and the people on the phones, the people you're hanging out with, use their phones to decide what the character should do next. Or at least that's what it appeared. I don't know exactly, but it just looked really cool. And so that one I definitely am excited for. That's You, I don't know, and the rest I'm not excited for SingStar, but we'll see. I think it's a great idea, and just furthers that the idea of social gaming, and it's a great feather in the cap for PlayStation.
Yeah, I think it was really interesting when they said they're going to start making more mobile games and games for phones. Like, I don't know if this is what people thought, and I'm sure there's probably other like more traditional mobile games coming as well. But I thought this was a pretty cool thing. I was really surprised on the PlayStation blog people can rate stories and reveals and give things stars. And this actually was really highly rated I thought for sure, like the people on the blog and the people who go there pretty regularly are usually pretty harsh critics of things. But people seem pretty stoked for this. So I think I will definitely check some of it out. I think this is something my wife and I will probably play. And I think Hidden Agenda definitely, like Seth said, is the one I am most interested in. So up next, Donnie got super excited and super thrilled because Everybody's Golf got a trailer. Still on track for August 29th. Will either of you be teeing it up to play some golf with Donnie? Seth, are you going to pull out the clubs or the fishing rod or whatever else you can do in this version of the game and hang out with Donnie?
No. If I'm golfing,
Wait.
If
Seth,
what?
would you play with me? Because I understand he said Donnie, so.
Oh no,
Was that the
I'm
goal?
not. No. I'm not playing Everybody's Golf. If I'm golfing this summer, it's going to be the golf club out in like 2 weeks. And if I'm fishing, I'm going to get a PSVR and play Final Fantasy Fishing. So, so no, I'm not doing Everybody's Golf. How about you,
Justin?
I'm not playing that. No. There's plenty of other facility golf games and stuff. This game hasn't looked that great to me from the beginning, but hey, you know what? Everyone's got their game, and this one's not mine. So, yeah, pass.
Well, I will be teeing it up with Donnie in Everyone's Golf. He is obviously the huge, the huge golf. Doesn't matter the golf game. He does tends to like him.
Yeah.
He is the huge fan, but I have always enjoyed the series, and I actually still play it on my Vita pretty regularly. So I'm really looking forward to this. I'm a bit worried with now going quote unquote open world for golf, and that you drive golf carts and do all this other crazy stuff. I'm a little worried about if they've changed the quality of the golf, because the golf quality in that game is actually quite good. But Donnie was in the beta and played it, and he said it was still really solid. So I'm hoping that continues to be true. So the long-delayed GT Sport got a new trailer with a release window of fall 2017. GT has perpetually been one of Sony's best-selling franchises. But A, do you think this will actually come out this fall? And B, if so, how well do you think it's going to sell, Justin?
I do think it'll come out this fall, but I think it'll sell okay. I think racing fans, like racing game fans, especially Sims, might have already moved on to like Microsoft. I mean, it's been way too long for PlayStation to come out with GT. If it doesn't come out this fall, then that studio's got some serious problems. Because I'm not a video game developer, but it's like everyone else seems to have a little bit better pace, especially when you're not. I mean, it's the same genre. I know sport is changing it up a little bit, but yeah, I don't know what exactly is going on over there. But nonetheless, like I'm excited. I used to play a lot of GT when I was a lot younger. You know, I'm PS2, and I'll definitely give it a shot. It's our only really good racing sim game, other than there's Drive Club, but I didn't really get into that. But yeah, so I'm excited, but I think it will come out this fall, and I think it's going to do okay in the sales.
Seth, what say you? Do you think it's going to come out, and how will it sell?
Yeah, I think it'll come out. You'd like to think that, and I know that games have been delayed after being revealed or given a date at E3, but you'd like to think that they come out now and say it's coming this fall, that it is. I'm not a big racing game person, but occasionally I like getting a good realistic one. I did get Drive Club after a little while, and I enjoyed it. And then lately I've been looking especially at Forza Horizon and just how much fun the Xbox guys are having with that, and really thought not that GT Sport would be quite as racer like Mario Kart, but quite as arcadey as that, but that it would. Forza Horizon just looks fun. I was hoping GT Sport would look like that, And I just thought that what they showed during the pre-show didn't look good. It looked fine, but like after seeing the Forza Motorsport trailer for the Xbox conference and just how sharp everything looked and and how good the environments looked and how varied everything looked, this gen to me, or Forza Motorsport and Horizon look this current gen, and GT Sport just looked kind of old. So it just kind of bummed me out.
Okay. I mean, I don't know if the game looks old. I mean, it might not look as Forza does. I don't know if it looks old, but I don't think this game is coming out this year. I don't think it's going to happen. I think they are worried about having a gaffe, well, I don't want to say gaffe, but like when they gave The Last Guardian an October date and then a month later had to push it to December. I think that's why they gave it the fall moniker of just saying this coming this fall, because they didn't want that to happen again. But I think because of that, they're also not super confident on when it's going to be done. I think they've been running betas and things apparently have been going well with that. But I feel like if they really were confident to be out this fall, they would give us a solid date. And since they haven't done that, I don't know that it's coming this year. If it does, great. I don't know if it's going to. I think it'll sell fine. I don't think it's going to. I think they're on PlayStation, especially the racing fans are hungry. I'm not a racing person, so it really doesn't do anything for me. People talk about how great Forza is. It looks fine to me. Like, it looks cool, but I'm not good at racing games. And as a reason, like, I can like floor it and hit the brake, and then like that's it. Like, the whole in between thing doesn't work for me. I'm just not good at that. So I've never really liked racing games because I'm bad at them.
Maybe you need to invest in one of those like whole wheel kits.
I could. Maybe then I'd be better.
Yeah. I think you should invest. Maybe get one of the huge one that's like you actually have to like sit in and everything.
Yeah.
Just invest a couple grand, and all of a sudden your racing skills will just skyrocket.
That's true. That's probably true. So I hope it comes out, and I hope it does well. I think that PlayStation racing fans are hungry. I just am not super confident. So I'll wrap these next couple together because I feel like neither of you are going to have much to say because we're already making fun of VR. So Super Hot VR was revealed for PSVR. It's already out on other VR platforms, and Super Hot was out on Xbox just as a quote-unquote non-VR game initially, and then the VR edition came out, and the VR edition is apparently very, very good. It's getting really solid reviews. So this will be a VR so that's coming out, and actually that's this summer still. And then also a game called Spark, and I will use Microsoft's lingo, a VR launch exclusive, was shown that is coming this fall. So as a PSVR owner, I'm actually really happy about both of these, and combine this with the significant presence that VR got on the main stage, I think this shows that Sony is not abandoning PlayStation VR like people have kind of said over the last couple months when there hasn't been a ton of announcements. But there have been VR games coming out almost every week. So these games, though, I think having them on the pre-show was exciting to me, and there's definitely some exciting stuff in the main show. Do either of you have anything to say at all about VR?
I'll just say, I kind of wish I had a VR because Sony is still supporting it. So that's pretty great. And some of those games do look kind of cool. So I'm not going to be getting a PS4 anytime soon, but I'm a little bit jealous of some of those games.
Awesome. Seth, do you have anything to say, or are you just going to make fun of me?
I'm not looking to get VR anytime soon either, but Super Hot, it was already out on PS4, but maybe not. But Super Hot VR looked cool, and people around me, that was two games during the pre-show that people around me were quiet for because it looked pretty neat.
Yeah, it's apparently like I think it's on Vive and Oculus already, and people have like trick shot competitions and stuff in it. It apparently is very cool. So the next announcement was kind of an odd one, and actually, again, this might be a little bit out of order. Tropico 6 was announced, and it's coming early 2018. I have Tropico 5 because of PS Plus. I couldn't tell you a darn thing about the games, though. Do either Tropico 6, Seth or Justin? Are you an expert on Tropico?
I played Tropico 5. So and
What is it?
It's base building like RTS.
Okay.
So yeah, like a kind of a mix between. It's. I guess it's actually more. No, I'm wrong. No, it's more like a SimCity actually.
Okay, I thought it was like a SimCity style game,
Yeah.
but I didn't know.
Yeah, no, it's definitely more like a SimCity. Just like a weird humor, and it's obviously set like in the tropical islands. Yeah, it's. I don't know. I have like this like a bunch of games on my PlayStation and like on my PC that I like to call like one-nighters because I played Tropico 5 for like 4 hours one night, no idea what I was doing, and then that was the last time I ever played it. So I'm not excited about Tropico 6, but I'm sure obviously there's someone who is. There's 6 Tropico games, so I don't know. Yeah, that's cool, I guess.
Seth, for people in the theater stoked about Tropico 6.
I don't know that I go that far, but there's some people who were talking about it, and the guy that I went with, my friend who only plays NBA 2K and WWE 2K every year, and that's it. He was interested in it, so it was a good trailer. And I love SimCity and Civilization. I love those kind of games on computer.
Mm-hmm.
I've never played them on a console though, and I don't know how that would translate.
Yeah,
so
you should give Tropico. Well, I don't know if you picked it up on Plus, Tropico 5.
I did. Yeah, I have it.
But yeah, I mean, I feel like Tropico is like shoots right between the middle of SimCity and Civ. I mean,
Mhm.
Civ you're battling a little more, but it's Tropico has like some like weird deep mechanics and stuff as far as when you look at the government. So you'd actually probably be really interested in it if you like those type of games.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I played Civ 5 on my MacBook last year and loved it.
All right, so maybe a new game series for Seth that he can write about at PSVG. So, Undertale was revealed for PS4 and Vita, and is coming this summer still. There's even a nifty collector's edition with the entire soundtrack and a gold-plated music box locket that I fully expect Kevin to purchase and wear every day. Either of you, so Undertale is one of those indie darlings on PC. Either of you interested in picking up Undertale? Seth, what say you?
First, the trailer for that was awesome.
It was really good.
Where it came on and just nobody knew what was happening. And then it has the little Undertale thing and says Undertale, and then it's kind of cute. I'm interested in it. It depends on price point and when it releases. I'll play it eventually, whether it's this year or next year or when I can get it for $3 at some point.
Perfect. Justin, are you going to be picking up Undertale?
I'll probably pick it up for Vita. Give me something else to play on Vita, and it seems like a game that'd be good on that system.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not sure when. I'm not crazy excited about Undertale. It looks okay to me. So.
Gotcha. I'm in the same boat. I will also probably pick it up for Vita because who knows how many more Vita games we're still ever going to get. So, and finally, before we move on to the big media showcase, Ni no Kuni 2 Revenant Kingdom got a new trailer and a release date this fall of November 10th. This, for me, is a definite day one purchase and play, but I know that I am sometimes a niche consumer. Seth, again to you, sir. Are you going to be picking up Ni no Kuni 2?
Maybe eventually. I never did play the first one. I think the game looks gorgeous. It has a great art style, and I'm occasionally. Is it JRPG?
Sorry, you broke up a little bit there. What was that?
Is it a turn-based JRPG?
No.
This one is very action.
Okay.
Very action. So for this one.
Cool. But I don't know. I might pick it up eventually, but not at launch. But it looks great. It looks like it'll be fun.
Gotcha. And by action, I mean action RPG. Justin, what about you? Are you gonna pick it up, Kuni?
Yeah, I'm definitely am. I think it looks great. I've watched some gameplay, earlier today. I played a little bit of Nino, the first one, and I liked it. Obviously, they both look really great as far as art style and just everything. I didn't enjoy the combat system in the first one that much, but I know they switched it up a decent amount for the second one, and I think it looks much better or more my style, anyways. I'm probably gonna be a day one, jump into it right away.
Yeah, they have said they've really been focusing on the combat in a lot of the trailers and a lot of the demos they've been doing. Excuse me. So I feel like they got that feedback that people weren't wild about the combat the first time. It is unfortunately on my pile of shame. I really want to play the first one, but I have never done it. I'm hoping they've been very cagey about if there will be a way to play the first one on PS4 outside of PlayStation Now. But I feel like maybe there's going to be. They were very, very cagey about it when asked about it by many people during E3 and during side streams and things like that. So that wraps up the pre-show. Like I said, there was actually a large amount of things that they talked about in a number of release dates, especially for this fall given at the pre-show. But let's jump into the reason we were all there, the media showcase, as it is officially dubbed. And the show kicked off the way I think most people expected, with a look at Uncharted: The Lost Legacy, still due out this August 22nd. This, I don't even have to think about whether I'm purchasing because I got the digital deluxe edition of Uncharted 4, so I'm getting this no matter what because I get it for free, or I shouldn't say for free, as part of that purchase. I thought the trailer was spectacular. I'm really, really excited and looking forward to this game. But the big question is, will you be trekking to discover the Tusk of Ganesh, Justin?
Yeah, sure. If that's where the Lost Legacy is located, yeah.
That's what they're looking for, apparently.
Yeah, no, I definitely am picking this up. I love Uncharted 4, and the whole series. It's still probably one of my favorite games on PS4.
Justin, we totally lost your audio, sir.
Can you hear me?
Now we can. You totally just went away for a while.
Someone heard me and they're like, "No, this guy's gotta stop." I know. I definitely. I'm really excited. So I did not get the digital deluxe version of Uncharted 4, so I could not be happier that this is a standalone buy. And I can just that is this is a cool new trend that games are doing with the standalone DLC for $30. Mm-hmm. Because it really does suck when if you're a guy who trades in games or and you trade in a game and then the DLC is announced and it looks great, then you have to rebuy the game and the DLC pack. So no, I'm definitely picking this up.
Awesome. Seth, I know you've referred to it many times. Is it safe to assume you are going to be jumping into this?
Yeah, I have it. As discussed on our end of the year podcast last year, Uncharted 4 was my favorite game. It's my favorite game currently on PS4 that I've played so far. And I'm excited about it. The price point at $40, and I think it's mostly a big game. I think it's expected to be 8 to 10 hours long. And I like Chloe, and I like the setting, and it's more Uncharted. So yeah, I'm on board.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I like the fact that they basically said that they set out to make a DLC and ended up making a game. So I'm really excited for what that means. That I was not certain how much we were going to see of it. I was really impressed with how much they showed and how good it looked. It looked like you're doing all the Uncharted stuff, but with some neat twists to it. So I am totally down for this. I like Nadine and I like Chloe, and I'm really interested to see how and why they got together and how they seem to be begrudgingly working together. So I'm totally down for this. I think it looks fantastic and cannot wait to download that one. Speaking of games that you might play and then trade in and have to rebuy to play the DLC, next we saw what many suspected would happen is that we got a DLC announcement for Horizon Zero Dawn. It's called The Frozen Winds, and it's due out this fall. There wasn't too much, I think, that could be gleaned from the trailer, other than we'll be spending a lot of time in the frozen north, but some more information has come to light. Apparently, this is going to be a whole new area. There will be new dinosaurs, robo-dinosaurs to go after. So I'm pretty excited that it is a whole new area, that it is all new, or not all new, but some new dinos that are going to be there for us to fight. So for me, this is day one. I think it's you can actually pre-order on the deal right now on PlayStation Network. I think it's $19.99, but if you pre-order, you get it for 25% off. For me, that is a no-brainer. So, Seth, if I recall, did you just get Horizon? Is this true?
Yeah, it is in my PlayStation. The disc is in my PlayStation right now. I have not had time to start it yet. Whether it's tonight or hopefully tomorrow at least, I will be starting Horizon. To ship me his copy to borrow for, I guess, probably for however long that I need to use it. Maybe I'll love it, and then we'll just keep it until the Frozen wins. So we'll see. Did they say whether this is standalone or?
They said it's a new area, so I'm wondering if it is standalone or not. I don't remember in the press release that I read whether or not you need the game. I'm assuming for this you do,
Okay.
but I don't know if that's true or not.
Okay. I will say too, and it's part after the conference was over. It's something that I didn't, because the sound was off when I was watching it. But the show kicked off with Uncharted, a new Uncharted game, which is, from the sounds of it, going to be as long as the first Uncharted Drake's Fortune game. And it's only $40. And then DLC for what a lot of people call the best exclusive game in the PlayStation, or the best, not exclusive even, the best game on PlayStation 4. And it started off with two really strong, a strong trailer for Uncharted and a strong announcement for new content for Horizon. That's really a heck of a way to start off the media showcase.
I agree 100%. Justin, you played Horizon, right?
Can you see that? Yep.
I can.
I'm actually, I just started, well, I've had it for a little bit. I played, I'm 5 hours in, so I've barely scratched the surface, I guess. And I actually just got done playing a couple hours tonight. I finally jumped back in after taking quite a while break. So, yeah, I don't think I'll be jumping into the DLC because I still have to get through the main game. And fall, like we've said, I think there's actually going to be plenty to play. So, but I am enjoying what I've played with the first one. So
awesome. So I'm for sure getting it. You all can not worry about it, I guess. So as we moved on, maybe Seth will get it if he really enjoys the game. Next up, another title we all expected to see, Days Gone, got a new gameplay trailer, but unfortunately no release date or window even. We saw a brief glimpse of the encampments that some of the folks are living in before Deacon, our protagonist, set off to go save a friend who had not returned from a supply run. We saw some new types of freakers, including animals, which was kind of interesting. I know this is going to sound weird. This trailer was far bleaker than I expected it to be. I don't know what I was expecting from the game, but I didn't expect it to be as downtrodden as it was. It was pretty intense, I thought, actually. I'm still, in on this game. I still think it's really interesting. I think they're doing some different things with zombies. But the more I see, the more I feel like it's going to get compared to The Last of Us, which probably is going to be to its detriment, because how do you get compared to The Last of Us and come out ahead? But will you be jumping in and trying to kill that nasty-looking bear that they had at the end, Justin?
I don't think so, actually.
Okay.
I don't think this game looks that great. It looks good as far as like visuals, and the mechanics seem cool, but it is another zombie game that I'm not excited for. I believe that the comparisons to The Last of Us are warranted, because I feel like they're using a lot of cues from The Last of Us. So, but yeah, it's not really for me.
Gotcha. Seth, are you going to be, or do you have any interest in Days Gone?
Not really. If it gets good reviews or whatever, but it doesn't interest me.
That's fair. That's totally fair. So, all right, well, we'll keep moving on from that one. So, after that, one of the something that had leaked and people thought might be coming was that a story franchise from Capcom was shown, and that is Monster Hunter World, which is due out early, it said, whatever that is for sure, early 2018. Important note, this is going to be available on Xbox One and PC as well. I've never played a Monster Hunter game. I know that they are widely loved by a very hardcore group of people. But after that trailer, I'm not certain if I'm going to be jumping in. But Seth, will you be slaying any dinosaurs in Monster Hunter World?
Maybe. I've never played a Monster Hunter game either. Of course, there were rumors, and it wasn't announced that Monster Hunter XX is coming to Switch, or I guess it is coming to Japan, and it's just whether it's going to come or when it's going to come to America on Nintendo. Try and jump in there, but I thought this game looked awesome. And part of that was a lot of people were excited about it in the theater. So, you know, things that other people are pumped about, I'm going to get pumped about also. But I thought it looked like a lot of fun. Followed one player. It seemed like it was going to be the hop in, hop out multiplayer that is kind of the trend now. And it's just going around hunting monsters and collecting loot. And I love loot fest games like Diablo and Destiny and so forth. So I will definitely keep an eye on it.
Gotcha. Justin, do you want to hunt some monsters?
I do, but I don't think I'm gonna do it in Monster Hunter.
Okay.
I've never played any Monster Hunter games, so it looks cool, but it's a different kind of grind that I like. I like the JRPG grind, but Monster Hunter grind sounds a little bit different. So.
Gotcha. Yeah. I think there's definitely an audience who this is really excited for. I am just not part of that audience. So PlayStation seems to be very passionate about the remake/remaster train as of late, or this generation, I should say. So Shadow of the Colossus was revealed as a collaboration between Japan Studio and Bluepoint, who are pretty darn good at remastering games, if I do say so. Slated for 2018. Have either of you either A, played Shadow prior, and B, do you have any interest in this one, Justin?
Nope. Same thing. I played a little bit of the first game, but it never really grabbed me. I know everyone else is excited, so I'm not for me.
Gotcha. Seth, what about you, sir?
I also didn't play the original game on PS2. I did play the PS3 HD upgrade when it was on PS Plus. Did it for a little while. I liked it, but I really think the controls were clunky and the camera was a bit clunky. And I had some difficulty figuring out where to go and what to do, but that wasn't a big deal. But I loved the boss. I mean, every battle was a boss battle. And I thought that trailer looked great. And I'm hoping that they fix the clunky controls and the camera. And I think if it controls more like a modern game, then I'll definitely be 100% on board.
I am in the exact same boat. I have played a little bit of the first one, but I didn't play it right away. So I was not as forgiving because the controls are definitely clunky. I think that it is a game I would really love to experience in a way that is less frustrating. And I think that if Bluepoint can modernize the controls a little bit for me and a generation of gamers who have not used to how bad games really used to control for a while there, I think that they could understand and appreciate a little bit more why Shadow of the Colossus is a really special game. But if you weren't there originally, I think this could be harder to appreciate when, you can realize how well games actually can control. But I will definitely be picking this up, and I'm actually really looking forward to it. I just really hope that, and especially with Blue Point doing it, I think they will fix it. If it was just Japan Studio or somebody like that doing the remaster, I don't know if we would necessarily see that change. But since one thing we always need more of are fighting games, apparently, I feel like there's a lot of fighting games out right now. But hey, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite is going to add to that pile. They came up with a new trailer, and they revealed that there's a playable story demo available now to download. I was actually going to download it and play it before the podcast, but I ended up playing some of the Brawlhalla beta instead. But maybe I'll download it after this. It is slated for arrival on September 19th. Is this on either of your radar, Justin? Are you excited about Marvel vs. Capcom?
Not really. I'm not a big fighting game guy. So, and the one thing that would maybe bring me to this game is X-Men. I'm a big fan of those characters, and they're not there on this game anymore. So, it looks great, but not really my cup of tea.
Awesome. Seth, is this your cup of tea?
No, but I would have said the same thing about Injustice, and I love Injustice 2, and I love the first one. So I do have the story demo downloaded. Test that out and see what I think about it. But the guy, my college friend that I went with, we're gonna check it out. So cool, but I'm not very good at fighters. So
gotcha. I'm also not super great at fighting games. I don't know if I'm going to pick this one up. I think it looks kind of interesting. I feel like there's something lacking when I watch it, though. I know that the first one was really, really well loved. I don't know. There's something about this one that I can't decide. I might see if I can borrow it from a friend or rent it and try it for myself because I like fighting games. I'm just really bad at them. So we'll see. This is on my radar, but it's definitely not a day one pickup for me at this point, at least. So the third party train continued. This time we got, what we all expected was a Call of Duty World War II taking center stage. I know it's still trendy to hate on COD. I really enjoy the COD ones. And I'll be honest, the Battlefield 1 content they showed at the EA presser looked really, really cool. But I'm still really looking forward to this game. I'm excited about COD going back to their roots. I'm excited to play a World War II game again in this vein. I am a little interested to see, they showed a lot of the multiplayer, and actually even more today, there was more multiplayer revealed. I'm really interested to see how people gravitate to that. I mean, all of the current trappings you see in Call of Duty multiplayer with the double jumps and the slides and all of that, that's all gone. I mean, it's very, very much a World War II multiplayer shooter. Maybe a little bit faster, but I mean, not any of the crazy locomotion that we see. So I'm interested. It's definitely on my radar. I don't know how much I'll play the multiplayer, but I am very interested to see whether that multiplayer community takes off or not. Will either of you be taking out Nazis this fall? In COD, Wolfenstein 2, that's a totally different discussion. In COD, will you be taking on Nazis, Seth?
Probably not, but that's terrible at Call of Duty games. I tried last year's game because I thought it looked really interesting, and I just wasn't good at it. And I don't know why, because I was fine at Titanfall. I don't know. I got last year. I got all three of the big shooters out from the library. I might try that for this again, and then if it grabs me, get it, because I like the World War II setting. I still have the first FPS that I really remember playing is Medal of Honor on PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
And I probably played Doom before that, but I just World War II setting, and I like historical dramas, historical fiction, things like that. And so I'll probably give it a try, but I won't buy just because I think that I'm pretty terrible at Call of Duty. And I'm also looking forward to Battlefront, which comes out 2 weeks later.
Gotcha. Justin, are you going to be jumping into Call of Duty this fall?
Yeah, I definitely will. I don't think I've picked up every single Call of Duty since Modern Warfare, and I had the first. I even had the first one on PC back when it was World War II before. That's how it started. So yeah, I'm a big Call of Duty guy. I've definitely fallen off on the multiplayer side in the last couple of years, mostly due to all of that jumping, double jumping, boosting. I never cared for it. Yeah, it made gameplay feel a little bit faster, but it was too much. It's like too many ways for you to get yourself shot. So I actually think it'll be fun going back to getting away from that. I think it might even be a little bit more skill based with that, or at least be easier to work on those skills as far as like first person shooter. So I'm very excited for it. I'm glad they finally returned. Um, and yeah, gonna shoot some Nazis.
Yeah, I played Infinite Warfare. I actually even still have it. I've never booted up the multiplayer. I'm so old now that like in my younger days, if I got in a bad situation in a multiplayer shooter, I could rely on my reflexes to get me out, and I just can't do that anymore. And I have to rely on understanding maps and presence and all of those things. And everyone can move so dang fast. It's really hard to like leverage that advantage in these modern shooters. So that's my excuse as to why I'm bad at them and why I just play Overwatch. But that's what I'm going to go with. So we are now going to wrap up the first half of our show here. However, I'd be remiss if I didn't give Seth and Justin a chance to comment briefly on the games featured in the second half of the show. I know they both have a lot they want to say about VR. Okay, maybe not. But I'm sure they probably have something that they want to say about God of War, Detroit, Destiny 2, and or Spider-Man. So I'll be talking about that stuff with Devin later. But Seth, I know you said that you would riot if I did not let you talk about Detroit. So, Seth, talk about Detroit or any of those other games you want to briefly before you head off for the evening.
All right. So those games. So the VR games. Skyrim VR caught me by surprise. It's coming to Switch, and one of the things that they revealed was motion controls, which I probably wouldn't use anyway, but then they showed it in Skyrim VR, and of course it makes sense. The Final Fantasy fishing was
That is great.
I don't know. So God of War looked great. We had kind of thought, and we talked about kind of in our Slack chat, that they had this huge God of War ad outside the conference, and wondered, well, maybe that's a fall game. So being early 2008, those February through April months, it could be a great release window. It looks good. I've never played a complete game before. I'm looking forward to maybe jumping into this one. I will leave the Destiny talk to Devin. I'm getting it. I'm excited for it. This trailer was fine, but I'm getting it. Whatever they showed me, I'd be fine, unless it was like something terrible. I don't know. So Detroit Become Human. Since the first trailer released, I've just been on board for it. I don't know why exactly. I like the aesthetic. I like the. I like Heavy Rain is one of the best games on PS3. I can see how I get its hangups, and I get that it could be hard to go back to now. But it's one of the most unique, interesting games that I've ever played. At least at the time that it came out. And I think a lot of games do what that did today and maybe do it better, such as Until Dawn.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm looking forward to seeing, I'm hoping that they've learned from all these other games that have come out and kind of take it a step further. And it seems like the permutations of all the decisions you can make are much wider. and I'm really looking forward to that. I was hoping that was going to be a fall game. We didn't talk about our predictions from our pre-show, but I was certainly off in my newly dated things. Although I think there might have been 3 dates in the pre-show at least. So, the date. So I'm over the moon excited for Detroit and thought this trailer was great, and Spider-Man looked awesome. I mean,
what else do you need to say about that?
right? Yeah, release it so we can play it. So it's I'm pumped about all 4 of those games.
Gotcha. Justin, anything you'd like to add about any of those 4 games?
Yeah, I mean, for me, the biggest one by far was God of War. Like that looks amazing to me. Both graphically, story, combat looks a little more interesting to me than previous God of Wars. So like, that's definitely the big one. And like, I don't care that it's not coming out this fall. I mean, give it time. Let them make the game that they want to make. And guess what comes out in fall? Like all Destiny for one, and all of the first-person shooters and a bunch of other third-party games. Like, why would I want that game in the busy fall? So I'm more than happy that it's coming out next year, and I don't even care if it's like an early summer game. So yeah, that's a big one for me. Yeah, I'm on board for Destiny 2. I'll be playing with hopefully playing with Seth and Devin a little bit. Spider-Man looks great, and yeah, same thing. Detroit Become Human looks great as well. So, and I'm from Michigan, so I have to. It's obligatory that I buy a game named after our biggest city. So,
must do it. It is required. Yeah. So awesome. Well, hey, if you're watching via video, thanks for joining us. Part 2 will be available soon. If somebody's really good at YouTube, like I'm not, they might put a link in one of these places to go right to part 2. I don't know. They might not either. But be sure maybe a link will pop up. But in part 2, we'll cover the second half of the show. We'll talk about things that we thought might be there that weren't and what that might mean for those projects. And we can we'll talk also about what we can actually play on PlayStation this fall, in addition to covering the VR portion and those 4 games that we talked about. So if you're listening to the podcast, through the magic of editing, it'll just seem like we're taking a little break, and we'll see you in a moment. But if you're watching on video, hey, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you for part 2.